Probably know the Peacekeeper by its nickname, the MX missile, but here's the thing. This was not just another Cold War weapon. The LGM-118 Peacekeeper was designed to be the most accurate and most powerful land-based ICBM the United States ever deployed, a missile built to change the math of nuclear deterrence. Imagine a missile that could carry multiple independently targeted warheads, that could reach across continents, and that sat in hardened silos ready to be launched if the unthinkable ever happened. That was the Peacekeeper. Before we dig deeper, hit subscribe to AutoVision for more hard history and big tech breakdowns like this. You will want to see what else we've got coming. Let's break it down. The Peacekeeper entered service in the 1980s after a long and contentious development period. It was the response to a strategic problem. How do you ensure your deterrent survives and can threaten adversary targets accurately enough that they cannot hide behind bunkers or hardened sites? The Peacekeeper solved that with two blunt tools: precision and payload. It carried multiple warheads, each independently targetable, which meant one missile could threaten many separate targets. That capability shifted the conversation from could we retaliate to could we destroy hardened targets, with fewer launches, and that mattered a lot in strategic planning. Now, here's the technical part in plain English. The Peacekeeper was an intercontinental ballistic missile, meaning it was meant to travel thousands of miles in a ballistic arc from silo to target. In practical terms, that gave it the ability to reach any target on the other side of the globe from its launch point in the continental United States. What this really means is that if it had ever been used, it could threaten critical military and strategic infrastructure across Eurasia and beyond. Saying it could destroy any part of the world is dramatic but misleading. The missile's range enabled global reach from U.S. silos, allowing it to strike strategic regions far from North America, which is why it was such a potent element of deterrence. Here's the thing people often miss. The Peacekeeper was about accuracy as much as raw power. It used advanced guidance to place warheads with much tighter accuracy than older ICBMs. That increased its ability to defeat hardened targets like command bunkers. The result was a missile that planners could rely on to hold very specific high-value targets at risk without needing to expend a large number of missiles. That efficiency made it strategically valuable and politically controversial at the same time. But history is never just about tech. The Peacekeeper was wrapped up in politics, arms control, and cost debates. It was expensive to build and deploy, and critics argued it escalated the arms race by making first-strike options more tempting. Supporters countered that its deterrent value made the nation safer by increasing survivability and strike certainty. Either way, the Peacekeeper's existence forced serious conversations about how nuclear forces should be structured and limited. Here's a pivot most viewers will find surprising. The Peacekeeper had a relatively short operational life. It was deployed in the 1980s and retired in the early 2000s as strategic treaties and changing budgets led to force reductions. The missile's legacy is not that it was used, thank goodness it never was, but that it reshaped how militaries and diplomats thought about deterrence, survivability, and precision strikes. Its technology also informed later systems and arms control negotiations that followed. What this really means for us today is a reminder of how technology and strategy are tangled. The Peacekeeper showed that if you give a military unprecedented accuracy and multiple warheads on a single missile, the strategic landscape shifts fast. That shift influenced treaties, budget priorities, and even the architecture of nuclear forces in the decades that followed. It remains an icon of Cold War engineering and a sobering example of the destructive power humanity once held in siloed metal tubes. If you liked this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe to AutoVision for more episodes where we unpack the machines that shaped history, and drop a comment below. Tell me what surprised you most about the Peacekeeper, or which Cold War system you want us to cover next.